So this video is going to show us the difference between relative cell addressing and absolute cell addressing. So I am going to show you here now. I have a formula that is calculating the VAT. So it's D4 multiplied by 23%. This is D4, and it's giving me the answer here of 242. So we then fill this down, and when I fill it down, Excel is clever enough to know that the formula is to adjust to its new location. So in row 8, it's now saying D8 multiplied by 23%. So it's multiplying this by 23%. If I look at a number in the middle, it's multiplying D6. So again, my sum formula here is D4 to E4, so it's adding these two. And if I fill it down, and I check the last one, it's clever enough to know it's now on row 8, so it's D8 to E8 that it is adding together. So that's relative cell addressing. As a formula that reference cells are moved or copied down or filled, they change depending on their new position. So the formula adjusts relative to the new position. And that's the default. Every time you do a fill down, that's what it's doing. It's doing relative cell referencing. Now, absolute cell referencing. So, in contrast, the definition of absolute cell reference is a cell reference that does not change when it's moved, copied, or filled. And this way, the reference will always point back to the same cell, no matter where it is in the workbook. We indicate a cell referencing by using the F4 key. And when we press F4, it puts a $sign in front of the row, the column letter, and the row number. So it looks something like this when we have it in. So I'm going to show you then in E4, I'm going to calculate the VAT at 23% of the total cost, using cell referencing this time, so our absolute cell referencing. So equals total cost multiplied by the VAT rate. I'm not typing the VAT rate in, I'm clicking into the cell that is containing the VAT rate, which is E3. And when I fill this down, I want all the different rows to refer back to the content of that cell. So I'm making the E3 absolute. So the minute I've clicked on E3, I press the F4 key. And you can see the little dollar in front of the letter and in front of the row number. Press return, and I'm going to fill this down. And when I fill it down, you can see on the last row, my formula is now saying D8 multiplied by E3. So it took this figure and it multiplied it by E3. If I look at the middle one, it's D6 multiplied by E3. So there's my D6 multiplied by E3. So it's what we call absolute cell referencing. That rate of 23% doesn't change the whole way down. So the beauty of it is, if the VAT rate decreases to 10%, my formulas will automatically adjust, because each formula is referring back to the absolute cell reference of E3.